Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal.
I'm Mark.
I'm Zoe.
We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom. We share inspiration, we share struggles, we brainstorm solutions. We would love to have you join us.
Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal.
I'm Mark.
I'm Zoe.
We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom. We share inspiration, we share struggles, we brainstorm solutions. We would love to have you join us. So we are here to talk music, and we're going to start off by interviewing our good friend Marc Keehmer. Mark?
Hello.
Hi. So what we want to do is we just want to find out a little bit about our backstories, because we became good friends about 2-3 years ago, some of us longer. John and Mark.
John.
I know.
10 years? It's been 10 years?
11 this year.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, 2008, fall of. So
Wow,
yeah.
guys, that's as long as I've been married.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The bromance is strong.
As it should be.
Okay.
As it should be. Absolutely.
Boom.
But we've worked together to make something really neat down in Chula Vista. So we just want to tell the story piece by piece and then as a whole. So Mark,
Yeah.
we want to hear about your piece of the puzzle tonight, friend.
Absolutely.
So let's start off with some program notes.
Let's get it.
So Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am the music teacher at John J. Montgomery in Chula Vista. This is my 4th year at the program, kind of 4th and a half. So the program actually started in 2014 with a pilot program for 3rd grade. So I was an employee of the San Diego Youth Symphony at the time, and it was a pilot, just a 30-minute, you go in, teach 3rd grade music for one class and go and teach 3rd grade music for the other class, and that's just kind of how it started. After that, it was a 10-week program. My principal, she said, I'm keeping you, finish your credential, get it together, because I'm like, you're going to be my music teacher. And at that time, I was getting my credential, and it was a slow process. I managed to cram a year and a half into 5 years. It was long and hard. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Cram.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for those of you who caught that. Yeah, so since then I've been, I was there part-time up until this year. It's my first full-time year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's super exciting. That's due to a partnership with Turnaround Arts. And we've just been able to get a lot of stuff done this year and a lot of plans for next year, and it's been really great.
That's really exciting. I know it's been a good year for a couple of us, and that you're one of us who got tenured this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got tenured, which was awesome, and just it feels more stable now.
Yeah.
It's not wondering kind of every day like, oh, what's happening next year, like next month and stuff. So
That was
like,
this year?
I got tenured. Yeah.
It's been a long year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has been a long year.
It's okay,
Absolutely.
guys. We're gonna make it.
We sure are.
We are. So, how long have you been teaching as in total?
In total, about 4.5 years.
4.5 years.
So I graduated from Point Loma in 2012, and then I worked at Starbucks for about 3 years. And kind of during that time, I was in this flux of like, do I want to go into teaching? Do I want to stay in Starbucks and work my way up? Because I had worked myself like fairly high in the organization within a short time. And then it was because I didn't get an assistant manager position, and it wasn't because of anything wrong. They just like, you don't have enough accolades yet because like you're young. And so I was talking with a regular at the time, and I was like, I've been here about 3 years. And then it just kind of hit me like, oof, I've been here for 3 years at Starbucks. Like nothing wrong with Starbucks. But I was like, I need to move on. And so a friend had told me about the San Diego Youth Symphony, and so I had reached out to them. I got teaching after school, which led to the pilot programs, which led to me being a full-time music teacher.
So, what were you teaching after school when you were with the symphony?
I was teaching trumpet and trombone. So trumpet's my main instrument.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is your degree in?
Music education.
It is in music ed.
So
Okay.
I was in music ed, and then I had gone on and get in the teacher credential program, and it was a long, hard program, as credentialing programs are. A lot of things that, especially for music, where it's like, well, you can't use any of this in your area, so
like they'll say, okay, create a lesson plan that hits all these different language standards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things like math is great, and like, but I don't need to construct responses for math in my classroom because we don't do that kind of math in my classroom,
right.
Yeah, so
But you got through it.
Yeah, I did get through it, and so we're on this side of it, which is great.
Have you always been at your site at Montgomery?
Yes and
okay.
no. So,
and because you were at 2, right?
Right.
Okay.
I was split between 2 schools for my first 3 years of teaching.
Okay.
And while I love both schools, being at one school is just way better, especially when you're trying to build a program. And so I've had this kind of realization over the last couple of weeks and month of like, I can teach music lessons and I can do that well, but like, am I building a program? And so like, they're 2 completely different things. And so giving music is great, but building a program is better.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What does building a program mean to you?
So to me, building a program is teaching kids the proper things that they need to know so skills that you can just build throughout as they get older. So for example, I just started teaching ukulele because we got a bunch of ukuleles through a grant through NAMM. And so with that, I kind of have been introducing it to all the grade levels. And so with my upper grades, 4th through 6th, we've kind of talked about the concept of chords and all this stuff. And today I introduced it to 3rd for the first time. And instead of like talking about chords and changing and all this stuff, like didn't even talk let's say the word chords. I have stickers to help guide them where their fingers should go. So I was like, all right, cover the green sticker, and we played into a C chord. And so I just had them strumming a C chord, and we sang Frere Jacques, well, Brother John in English. And so we just sang that while they played. And so I don't know if, and I'm still working it out, but like I don't know if I'll get into that super heavy details of these are chords, this is kind of a chord progression with my 3rd graders, but just kind of exposing them to this is a ukulele and you're playing it and you're making music. And so once they have that kind of foundation, building upon that maybe in 4th grade and talk more about chord progressions and whatnot.
Okay, so I'm hearing when you're thinking about building a program, it's simple exposure and then building on skills so that you can actually get somewhere, and then the kids can take it independently outside of the music room and make their own music. Okay, well, and with that, we've kind of moved past program notes and we're getting more into development. So let's get there. Yeah. Let's go into development. Mark, when did you know that you wanted to be a music teacher?
I knew my senior year of high school, and so I'm from a small town called Tehachapi. And at the time I was living there and growing up there were about 5,000 people in the town. We had one stoplight. Just let that sink in. One stoplight, like in the whole town. We had one high school, one middle school, 3 elementary schools, and that was kind of about it. And so I had pretty much no direction, and I just kind of enjoyed hanging out with friends, and that was about it. So my senior year of high school, I had an elective, and so I didn't really want to do any of the electives that the school had, like home ec or wood shop or all that stuff. So I asked the band director if I could be his TA, and he said absolutely. So for first period, I drove down to the middle school and helped teach 6th grade beginning band. And it was there where I was like, you know what, this is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy this. And so it was kind of from that experience where I was like, you know what, I do want to be a music teacher. And it was a friend named Josh who was like, you should apply to Point Loma because I don't want to apply alone. And I was just going to go to a JC in Bakersfield, which was the best decision I made, not going to a JC in Bakersfield. No offense to if you listen to Bakersfield. But so I went to Point Loma. Yeah. Anyway.
Moving on.
Good luck. I'm here to support.
I do want to kind of, I guess from there, jump forward to 2015. When I met you for the first time was basically Yola Youth Orchestra of Los Angeles bussed down to Chula Vista to do a collaborative day with Opus.
Yeah.
Yola at Opus Day? I can't remember what they called it.
It was advertised as.
So I was in school to get my teaching credential, and so I got to go on that trip with them and was working with Yola. And then you were there and just like working so hard. I just remember you had your trumpet, if I'm remembering. Yeah. And it was Mar Vista High School. And I just remember
right on the beach, by the way, which is just amazing. Wow.
And we all walked to the beach as part of like the day. It was so cool for a lot of kids. It was like first time going to the beach. So we were there, and then the day was a long, long day, and I was there to enjoy it. I wasn't doing a lot, but you were like working hard the whole day, and I just remember there were some pizzas left over at the end of the day, and I tried to take one because I was super hungry, and Annette was like, actually, that's Mark's. He earned that pizza.
Don't mess with Mark's pizza.
We can get a pizza, Zoe.
No,
can make that up
the
right
whole
now.
point of that was just like just a lot of respect for you, Mark, and like you've been like involved from the beginning and just like making an impact. So
Wait,
That's right.
pause.
Happy to be
You have
here.
respect for Mark because he had pizza? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's
Trying
what
to
I'm
connect
getting
the
at.
dots
because
here.
he could eat a whole pizza.
There we go.
Oh.
Not anymore.
Dude,
It's
we're
okay.
getting
We've
old.
all learned.
We're getting old.
We're not going there. I'm older than all of you.
It's a,
All right.
it's a process.
So,
Like music.
so Mark,
Yeah.
do you have a memory of a specific music teacher? It sounds like your high school music director really
Well, so
sparked your fire, but do you
kind
have
of.
one who sticks out?
yeah, I have several. So I haven't had a ton of directors and musical directors like that. So my high school teacher was my middle school teacher, was my elementary school teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
All the way
wow.
through. Wow.
So I
Wait,
was
was it
thinking
one
about it.
big entity, like K through 12? Or
No,
did
so
you just jump around?
Yeah, so he moved
Okay,
around because again, small town.
Right.
There just wasn't a ton.
one stoplight.
One stoplight, right? Yeah, absolutely. And so there just wasn't a ton of kids really. And so my graduating class was like 300, but when you think like that's a whole town, that's not a ton. But so Mr. Waldrum, Craig Waldrum, he taught band in 6th grade, and so that's when I joined. And I was actually thinking about last episode, I said I didn't have music, but that was a lie. I had band before school.
Correction.
And so, yeah, I actually joined because they met during the day, my 5th grade year, and I was like, I want to get out of class. That sounds amazing. So I joined, and then they moved it to before school, so I had to be at school even longer, which was the worst.
And at that point, you were hooked.
Right.
So
Well, at
that's
that
how
point,
they
my
get
dad
ya.
was like, I bought you a trumpet. You're going. Because I tried to quit many times. But, so yeah, it was the same director all up until high school, until graduated. Then I went to Point Loma. And Dan Nelson was the band director on my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a great person and a great influence. And then I think, though, my teacher who had the most influence was my private instructor, John Wilds, who plays for the San Diego Symphony.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a second trumpet. And he taught me and showed me what it is to be a good teacher. Like, he cared so much beyond the notes and so much beyond the technique. And, like, I'm not the best trumpet player. I can play, but like I'm not
because you don't have a
like,
stash. That's
It's
why.
because I don't have a mustache. That actually is true.
Mark used to have a mustache, and now he no longer has a
was
mustache.
terrible.
Listeners, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So, do you have a specific memory? Because I love that you say it was so much, beyond the notes and the music. But what specifically stands out?
So a couple of things. There was one day it was for several weeks. Was prepping for a competition for a scholarship, and I had never really done anything like that, so I had been practicing up to 6 hours a day, and like I was just like killing myself and not taking care of myself. And it was like maybe a day or two before the actual competition, and John, we talked about it, and so I think I was asking advice, and so he came to the school. He came to Point Loma, which he doesn't live nearby. And it was like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. And he went through this like warm down process with me and stuff. And so he took maybe 30, 45 minutes of his life and was just like, here's a warm down. You feel like you can play? And I was like, yeah, I feel like I can play. He's like, now put the instrument away and go home. And like, he told me like, you've put in all this work and you're like, you can't really do anything else. Like, take care of yourself. And then another time, a different year, I think it was my senior year, I had just been going through a lot of personal family stuff at home, and like, and so I wasn't in a mindset to play. And I had mentioned something like that because we had started the lesson, but he knew something was off, and so he asked me, and so I kind of told him. He's like, all right, we'll put the trumpet down, let's talk. And so it was actually in Dr. Kenyon's old office, John. So it was on the first floor, these beautiful pianos and like this beautiful practice space that he never got to use. So it was kind of like exciting, but he just sat there and talked with me for our entire lesson and was just like, this is what you need right now. Like he wasn't in it for the money. He did it because he loved music. He loved teaching. He loved his students.
That's really beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
So what is your first memory of a music teacher? So you were saying that, you rethought your answer.
Yeah. So I was sitting in the cafeterium at my elementary school.
The cafeteria.
Yeah.
Auditorium. Cafeteria. Okay.
Yeah, cafeterium. And I was sitting on stage, and I had my trumpet, and there were all of these other kids who they actually bussed in from other schools to my school. And so like I had no idea what was happening, and I had this trumpet, and we sounded terrible for a very long time. But it was fun, you know. I enjoyed it. I hated practicing, and so like we had to practice right. Not the first person, so I feel better about that. But we had to practice 30 minutes a day, and so I'd go home and I'd look at the clock, and if it was 4:05, I'd practice until 4:35, not a minute later. And then there came a point where I didn't practice, and then my dad got on me, and so I had this long battle of wanting to do music or not. I don't come from a musical family, so I'm the first person in my family who is musical. And so it was just really hard because like I didn't also see what that process was like of this is what we do. Like you play, you have fun, you enjoy it. It was like, no, you have to be in your method book, and you have to be learning the notes and doing everything that, and if you don't play the right note, you're like, you sound bad. Yeah. So it's just been a lot of kind of that, trying to retrain myself. Even now as an adult, you know, when I learning a new instrument or trying to do something new, like it's not about being right and being perfect. So we were talking about that a little bit before you came, me and Zoe, and I was saying that's something that I love about the Orff community. And I feel like that has been such a gift that's been given back to me, because I feel the same way, and I think all of us can relate to feeling rejected in the music world in one way or another, whether that was a director that didn't like you very much, or a solo that you didn't get, or just or someone who didn't, or a friend. Friends were the worst in college. I love you guys. You guys are the worst.
No.
John can attest. Like just the negativity, and like if you're not perfect, you're useless, and like why try?
There was
such
a sense of toxic. There was such a sense of perfectionism, almost elitism, just like, can you do a certain level of musicianship? If not, you are a lower tier. Right. And it's not just with our community, there's a bunch of music communities.
Sure. Absolutely.
Well, and I think that a lot of music education programs in colleges can be very secondary focused because of that mentality that you have to be some sort of high level musician. Whereas with the Orff process, we're all in this very elemental music making, and it's simple and it's beautiful, and everybody gets to be part of it, and it's just so inclusive. I am obsessed with it. So
I love how Drew, one of our instructors for the Orff, when we had Orff lessons, I think it was him who brought up the idea of juxtaposing Orff versus conservatory approach. I think it's a good mindset, because oftentimes we come from a background, many people, like where we try to perfect this skill as opposed to just come together and just do music. And I just really resonate with that idea of Orff. Just do music.
I want to empower the kids to jam. Definitely. You know, because those have been my most joyful moments as a musician. The unplanned ones, no real audience, just a bunch of people together making music, and I think that's what's important. You kind of touched on this question earlier, but I'm wondering how you define a successful music classroom.
I think a successful music classroom is kids wanting to be there, and kids having fun, and kids learning something, whether or not they realize that they're learning it, but they're learning something. So it's been a battle this last year of that conservatory versus, you know, more just growth kind of process. And I definitely say my first year was super conservatory. Like, you had to know this is a B, this is an E on the staff. Like, if you don't know that, you're never going to learn music. But now it's like, today I was just thinking about when we were doing the ukuleles with third grade, I had some kids who were playing like with their hand on top of the fretboard to push down the green circle, because that was their instructions. And I was like, I can correct them, but they're smiling and they're playing the ukulele right now, and I can correct them later. Like, it's, you know, they don't have to be perfect at this on the first day. And so a music program, to me, in a music classroom is just, are the kids having fun and are they learning? You know, do they feel safe? Safety for me, and just like, even like physical safety, but also emotionally safe. Do they feel like this teacher cares about them and loves them and like sees the value in them, even though they might be a troubled kid, even though they might, you know, they might not talk, but just to have someone, even if it's the only person at that school, says, you can do it, I believe in you. Like, that's huge. Because how often do we measure these kids on these test scores? Right. You know, you only grew this many Lexile points or what have you. And yes, all that's important to have and to know, like, to see the kid actually growing. But if that's all that they get, they're like, it's not complete.
I know that you're in a similar school situation to mine where
Yes.
you've got a lot of low-income little guys.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your kids.
My kids are fun. They're challenging. I love them and want to shake them sometimes. They come with just a lot of things from home, just a lot of baggage, and then they come at these low academic score levels. So we have fourth graders who are reading maybe at a first grade level, you know, and just it's one of those things where there's just never enough time, and so like they just got to keep progressing, but they really enjoy coming to music. And I think part of that is because I'm very aware of, like, I don't tell them, like, well, you passed or you failed, you know. It's like, you did it, you didn't know. Like, if someone can't do something, I was like, well, maybe try this or do this instead. Or like, well done, you were able to do this. And so I try to use the words well done a lot in my class. Not to diminish, like, well done, but just like to give the kids some encouragement, because so often I'm sure they don't hear those words, you know, or like, you can do it. Like, I know you can do it. I have faith in you that you can do it. So just speaking positivity to them.
I know that you built this program from nothing.
Yes.
There was no music teacher before you walked in. Tell me about what it's been like changing the culture at your school.
It's very slow.
Okay.
And it's
what aspect?
just feeling like the culture is shifting. And so like I feel that the culture has shifted amongst the younger students. So I'd probably say, with the exception of a few sixth graders, fifth, they're starting to buy in. Fourth, they're my most challenging group, and that's just that's a grade that's just really low performing, just kind of everywhere in the academic world. And so when they're so low performing, and like they're told constantly that they're low performing, when they come to my classroom, they just kind of carry that mantra with them. And so with them, it's a lot of, like, it's very little individual work, because they don't know how to work like as an individual. And so a lot of group teaching. And then like today I had them, and I tried to give them an assignment just working with a partner, and they had these ukulele sheets that they wrote down these chords, and there was learn yours, teach your partner. And I'd probably say maybe 40% were able to do it.
Okay.
With, like, it was really scaffolded in what they had to do. But I just feel that when I think of culture, like, I just don't see students. I see teachers, I see parents, I see administration. And I have a very supportive principal, and I love my principal very much. And she's been a huge advocate of mine, and I'm just so appreciative of that. But I don't feel currently that the staff is bought in.
Okay.
And so, like, they're great, and I love my staff and whatnot, but like, in my, I guess, perfect world, like, they're interested in it and they want to participate, and we're not there yet.
Yeah.
This is your first year full time,
Right. And so my schedule being schedule being part-time I was there 2.5 days a week, and in those 2.5 days, from the start of the day to the end of the day, I had kids. Like, my break was lunch, obviously, and then occasionally I got recess, or I had recess duty, but there's very little interaction with the staff. And so trying to change that now.
Yeah.
That's good.
One step at a time,
Absolutely.
right? So all of us are VH1 Save the Music Schools,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about that a little later. I think in another episode we'll unpack what VH1 has done for us as a district. But you're the only turnaround art school.
Yes.
So tell me about what that is.
Yeah.
And what it gives you, because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. So I'm not a spokesperson for Turn On Arts. I'll just say that
just
up
tell me
front.
your experience.
Turn On Arts was a program that stemmed out of the Obama administration, and it was for this idea of low-performing schools using the arts to turn around the school. So turn around culture, turn around academics, like, kind of turn around everything.
Okay.
And so it has since been partnered with the Kennedy Center out of D.C.
Okay.
And so, being a Turon Art School, it's kind of a partnership. And so they offer us resources, they help us with certain things, and they help us kind of train the whole staff to use arts-based strategies within the regular teaching day. And so we have a whole school strategy right now called Visual Thinking Strategies, and it's where you project an image, and you're allowed to ask the students 3 questions. What do you see? Or what's going on in this image? What do you see that makes you say that? What more can we find? With the intent of getting the kids to use vocabulary to critically think. And so we tried 2 strategies this first year to kind of see which one we liked. And the other one was drum circle, which was great. But the program it was 8 weeks, and there wasn't a ton of growth with the program from year to year. It'd kind of be the same thing. And so it's like, well, I can do drumming in music class. Like that's, like, we'll do that. And so I'm going to really be pushing towards this VTS because it does grow with the students every year. The images, there's more to them. And so I've been leading the 4th through 6th grade VTS sessions. And I've just seen within the last month or 2 of doing it, the kids are really starting to engage and really participate in that. So our first couple weeks, there was always those kids who want to share and who always have something to say, and we love those kids because especially
they get
when
the ball
someone
rolling.
right, and when someone's observing you and you like ask a question and no one says anything, it's like, oh no.
It's like,
But
I
then
can
that
call
kid's
on
like,
Lisa.
oh, right, absolutely. Yes, Gaia, what do you have to say? And then he goes on for 5 minutes. But it's been really cool because the kids who are quiet are sharing what they see, and the whole point of it is not to be right, it's not to be wrong, it's just, what do you see? So you see that this image has a dog. Why do you say that you see a dog? Where to that kid it might look like a dog, but to the other kid it might look like a coat. Well, I see it's a coat because it looks like it has shoulders and it has what appears to be a collar. So it's just a lot of open language, and nothing is like, oh well, that is a coat or that is a dog. No,
Right.
it could be, it possibly is.
It's your interpretation.
Right.
So
I love that.
Is this approach used in general ed classes?
Yep.
Or
so my 1st through 6th grade students all get it at least once a week.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's been really cool. And then being Turn On Art School, just a lot of partnerships, which has been great. They helped us apply and get some grants that were amazing. So I got a grant for some musical instrument, for a music program, and so I funneled it all into instruments because I figured that was the best investment, was in that for the kids. And then we're putting on a musical this year for the very first time.
Wow.
I've never done a musical. I've never been in a musical, and we're doing it. It's in a month.
That's fantastic.
Is it just you?
Yeah.
Who else is a part of that?
So we have a partnership with an organization called CODA, and they have a couple of teaching artists who come in, and they've been helping with choreography because I'm not a choreographer. And I've been teaching the music with it, and we've been working on sets and stuff, and our art teachers, she has a couple art clubs, which is really cool. So they're working on props and stuff like that. So the whole point of it is to literally turn around the school using the arts. And so we have a leadership team that's dedicated for arts. And so like a lot of schools will have the ILT, their instructional leadership team. Well, we have an arts leadership team.
So this is it's not just you, it's getting other staff members involved.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your culture shift.
Right.
That's very helpful.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's super great. And I have a couple of teachers who are absolutely amazing. And so it's been, that's been really helpful. But for me, being a millennial, if it doesn't happen today, like I feel like I'm failing at it.
You know, one of my favorite quotes though is that we underestimate what we can accomplish in a year. Or
Sure.
I'm sorry, we overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, but we underestimate what we can accomplish in 5. And it really keeps me going.
Yeah.
Because there are days where it seems like we are just fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's very difficult on the, boots on the ground day to day. But I look at my 2nd graders and the growth is exponential.
Yeah.
They are far and away above the 6th graders my first year teaching at a school that had never had music before in their musical ability. So I'm excited to see where all of our schools are when we've been there full time for 5 years.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yes.
Mark,
Culture takes 3 years to build.
yeah,
So
it does.
like
And
full
I think,
time, like
yeah,
being hard,
full-time
being
years.
hard at it. Yeah.
Yes.
So and I have to remind myself, like, okay, I've been there 4, but this is kind of 1.
It's kind of 1.
I've been
Yeah.
around, but it's
Right. And so you're not coming in like a first year teacher. They do
Right.
trust you, they know you, but actually rolling your sleeves up and getting some actual work done. This is the first year that you've been able to.
Right.
So
And because I'm full time, we have an intermediate band, a beginning band, a choir, 2 ukulele clubs. We're putting on the musical. Like all this wasn't possible being a part time teacher. So because I'm there full time, now
Yeah.
it's all possible.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats, Matt,
Thanks.
Mark.
Thanks.
Matt.
No,
Reading
Mike, right?
Mike,
Mike.
Matt, Mark.
We're
I have
just gonna
troubles
give you
with
lots
my
of
R's.
Monty.
So when I was growing up, I went to speech class because I can't say R. Like even today, I feel like whenever I say the letter R, it doesn't come out. And so for the longest time, I was Mike because I couldn't say Mark because that R is difficult.
It is difficult.
And so Marc Keehmer, it was Marc Keehmer.
I was just picking up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You read it.
Interesting.
Read it right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite story to share from your teaching? Maybe a fun story with a kid?
I have a great story of one of my 5th graders. Her name is Candy, and this is the 3rd, 4th year I've been teaching her. So I've known her since she was like a 1st, 2nd grader. But she was always super shy, very quiet, rarely talked. Like if I got her to say hi to me, it was kind of a win. And so she joined Opus last year and started learning saxophone. And this year she's in my band, and she was in band at school last year. And so we've been interacting a lot more. And it's just been really cool to see her growth, just not only musically, but just as a person. And so during the speech competition, she was one of the finalists from her class. And so she got up on stage in front of the whole school and delivered this beautiful, eloquent speech about harmony and how everything works and stuff like that. And so it was just confident. She didn't like fumble over words. She was just, it was super articulate and just really well done. And like just thinking that only a few years ago this little girl wouldn't even talk to me, but like now she's up in front of a whole school just delivering the speech. So there are lots of factors that play into that, but I really think music and learning what she has through saxophone playing and community through that has really helped to build her up like that.
That's beautiful. Did you get emotional?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like she got up there, and like I was shocked to see her up there, not because I didn't think she could do it, but just because she has been so quiet for so long, you know. But it was awesome. It was a really cool experience.
Really fantastic.
Yeah, she did awesome.
Amazing. Well, shall we move on over to Mark for Spiccato?
All right. What is your favorite thing in your refrigerator right now?
Oh, going clockwise this time.
I'm starting yogurt.
Salsa.
I'm terrible at this. So I'm not a string player. Favorite? I don't have anything. I
Spiccato, top of your head,
Greek
dude.
yogurt. Just
There
put
you
it that
go.
way. Boom.
I have this whiskey and
Copied
like
me.
lemonade can.
Ooh.
It's
Okay.
so good. It's
Fair enough.
just the absolute best.
Okay.
What is one app that you wish you did not have on your phone, but you have it because you secretly love it?
Ooh. Okay, it's Airbrush, and it makes all my pictures pretty.
Facebook.
That's a comment. It's this app I recently got. Forget what it's called. It's a way to connect with people. Marco Polo. It's a way to connect with people in a busy life. It's I'm mixed about it. I'm mixed. Yeah.
I have Marco Polo and I love it. I'd probably say Instagram. I love Instagram, but I also hate Instagram because it just takes so much of my life.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. You've been given an elephant. You can't get rid of it. What do you do with it?
Give it hugs.
Give it to the San Diego Zoo.
Can't get rid of it.
Can't get, and it's not getting rid of it.
Yes,
Giving
it
it a
is.
home.
You are donating.
Okay, he can live at the baseball field next door.
Eat it.
What? That's so lame.
Oh my goodness.
With barbecue sauce.
Ranch, clearly, just.
Oh, ranch. Okay.
I would name him Alfred, and he would protect my home.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yep. All right. Last one. What is one food that you can never give up?
Chocolate.
French fry.
Cheeseburgers.
Burritos. Burritos.
Burritos.
Love it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we have moved on to our round of the week. Mark has chosen a song from a mentor of ours, Mr. David Thaxton.
Yay, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Happy birthday, Dave.
We love you. He was our level 1 instructor and our recorder instructor for level 2, and he's an all-around fantastic human. And he gave us this wonderful song that has all of our second graders, my second graders,
My fourth
your
graders.
your
My
fourth
third
graders, gifting us Dixon Ticonderoga pencils. The Dixon Ticonderoga, the pencil that tamed the wild frontier, that fought the bears and raging streams and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that has no fear.
The Dixon Ticonderoga.
The Dixon Ticonderoga, the pencil that tamed the wild frontier, that fought the bears and raging streams and climbed the mountains high, the pencil that has no fear. The Dixon Ticonderoga,
that pencil that tames the streams and climb the mountains high. The pencil that has no fear.
The pencil that has no fear. Thanks for listening, everybody. We hope that you have a wonderful week making a difference in your music rooms. Keep that harmony chaotic. Oh, and where can we find each other?
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Seligman, Seligman, and not spelled at Mistress MR. Yeah.
M.R. Seligman.
Yes.
You can find me on Twitter at Finney Vapa. That's FINNEYVAPA, or at crystalpridmore.com.
Awesome. Still laughing. Forgot all the words to that. At Ms. M.S. Kumagai, Kumagai.
And I am at Mr. Keehmer, MrKeehmer.
On the Twitters.
Boom.
All
Yep.
right.
That's on the Twitter machine.
Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Peace out.
Bye.
The Chaotic Harmony Podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore, Jonathan Seligman, Zoe Kumagai, and Marc Keehmer. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @CHClassroom, Instagram at chaoticharmonyclassroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Brian Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com.